Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Support for Hire, a new series I'm going to be starting now as I go through each of the supports and Heroes of the Storm, possible builds, and the ways that I build them at this point. Today, for the start off, I started with the newest support, Stukov. Yes, Stukov. Stukov is, well, his little flavor of healing comes from the fact that he can actually solo heal fairly well now. He's not. Okay, he can kind of fit into the burst heal category, but his pathogens must land, and he has to finish a certain build to really cause it to work the way it should. So here is I'm showcasing a match that me and my friends had. I'm showing off Stukov the best I can, and as you can see in the point here, I use my E ability, which creates a pool on the ground that silences enemies within it. And as the fights will wane on, you will see my Q ability, which is the healing pathogen, as you see over Arthas, where the green plus sign will go over them, and then there's a healing overtime. And then if I use my D trait, the bio kill switch, it will automatically use the heal and create a burst heal of sorts. That can get better later on in the game if you take the certain build that I take. And then there is the W. The W is a very slow skill shot. It's probably not deathly slow, but you'll see it every once in a while when I use it, like I just did on Malfurion and Mist. It takes some getting used to hit it, but once you hit that on an opponent, the longer it lasts on them, and then once it runs out of steam itself, the person is like really slowed badly. So you want to usually try to set that up. So for the build that I usually go for is, if I hit one person with the W ability, I can usually then pop my D trait and my heals. It will automatically reset all of that, and then it's a 4-second cooldown for the big heals. That's just how I usually build Stukov. So we'll just focus more on the mesh here. So we're on Tomb of the Spider Queen. My team consists of Arthas, Malthael, Zul, Kerrigan, and Stukov myself. Against a Sonya, Furion, a Valeera, an Arthas, and a Raynor. Now, the good thing about Kerrigan and Johanna of sorts, who have pull abilities. If you're able, for Stukov, whenever you use the arm, you want to try to create a battlefield, I guess, to drag it. And then right here at level 4, I'm taking Vigorous Reuptake. Vigorous Reuptake is the talent that will help you basically have ancestral healing every time you have your bio kill switch ready, your trait. But I'm going to get back to that in a minute. So once I pop my D trait on like the heals, I pop 50 of these heal bubbles, then I'll have a very expounded healing. But Stukov will use the Lurking Arm, his E, to create a silence field. And in this field, the opponents are totally silenced. They can't use abilities or anything. So Genji gets really hurt badly because he can't cast Deflect or anything. Kerrigan is very helpful if you want to try to yank them into it, same as Johanna. If you're able to keep your opponents in them and then you jump in on top of them to make them not escape, it always helps. And you can also use it for wave clear, as you see what I'm doing next to the Mouth Islands as the Valeera stabs my ass in the back. Stukov does have an auto attack. He's one of the people at level 1 where he can actually choose what he wants. You can go with the Spine Launcher, or you just take the arm. I just got blown up there pretty badly. If you choose to go for the Spine Launcher, you have a slow every auto attack. You're still not that fast of an auto attacker. I mean, he auto attacks very slowly, but he hits like a truck. They said he has the highest amount of damage in an auto attack out of the characters in the game. So okay, I'm respawned, and now I have to choose a lane to go help out. And Tomb usually trying to rotate between the top and the mid to get as many butts as you can for a turn in. We have enough butts to turn in, at least according to the AI there. So now I'm just going to get my way here. Stukov is also able to lane with the Lurking Arm, and I'd also caution people, because Stukov, when he uses Lurking Arm, he is a target, like for people like Chromie and Ming who have to land skill shots. If you use Lurking Arm too early in fights, which you'll probably see me do, you open yourself up to possibly taking huge amounts of damage from your opponents if they take advantage of you. But of course, you can remedy that if you take the longer range. I usually don't. And the talent at 7 is the W talent, where if I only hit one opponent with my W, I get a 4-second cooldown on my bio kill switch. I have to. I want to. I always want to call it like my pop pustules, but that's not what it's called. And right here, I use my arm, yank him right back into it. They have no abilities. Arthas is not able to use any of his, and he dies. He goes down very easily. That was very good dive work there. And I have 14 stacks on my heal. I just got to finish that up. There, I just fired my W. See if I can hit him. Sometimes I just like to see it. And now the web weavers are inbound. So Stukov is probably really good at pushing with objectives just because you can actually use the lurking arm to stop abilities from hitting the objectives. See, like rooting people in place or dragging them into it, or what you want to do, like my Arthas just did there. Because you want to try to keep your opponent in there as long as you possibly can, because the less abilities your opponents use, the better. So this is probably going to be a pretty decent fight going to break out here, as our spider will now launch its stuff. I just got stabbed by Valera and rooted. Oh, am I going to make it out? I did make it out. Now I'm shooting my heals onto everybody. Okay, once it's nice and put on everyone, I activate my bio kill switch, heals everybody up, and then we can turn. However, it's not going so hot. I don't have mana for anything, so we may have lost that fight. But low at the bottom, because we drew so much attention, our Zul was probably able to get bottom fort. For Stukov, I've enjoyed him being out. His win rate is probably not very high. I think I've heard people discuss it because he's a very high skill cap kind of character, because you can't really be wasting your heals like or your cooldowns, because if you just randomly hit Q and then you're hitting D to like heal people up to full, sometimes you may come to regret that in some instances, because then it's like, damn it, now I don't have the burst heal part of Stukov. And now we're going to go in, we're going to go deep. That's a very good Kerrigan combo into a pull, and then we got a double kill as we move on there, as we take down the top fort, not keep. Keeps are the second level. The enemy team captures the bottom giants, possibly prepping. We are looking for a boss play, I believe. Here, I don't know if we go through with it. Okay, I guess we actually are. Our Zul's breaking off because he's not very good at damaging the boss itself. But between Malthael and the rest of us, we should be able to get this relatively quickly. Our opponents have finally turned in for their spiders, so they're going to have a spider wave, but we're going to have a boss to stop their spiders top. Currently at bottom, the giants are still pushing. That kind of preps the lane to make the spiders a tad bit stronger. We finish the boss. Everybody gets the little heal thing. I pop my trait, and that gets us to 33 stacks overall. So now we're choosing to attack the top. Here we may have a pick on Furion with a bunch of roots, and now we hit with the silence arm and the pull, and we get another double kill. Now Valera is currently on my ass, but she's not able to blow me away, thankfully. Boss has pretty much moved and ignored the spider completely, because that's what Boss does. I just use lurking arm straight down for wave clear purposes. That probably wasn't one of the better ways to use the arm at all. So we move on, we clear out the top spider. Bot fort was just taken down by the spider, the giants, and Sonya of the enemy team. So yeah, that's what's happening. And okay, we want the bruiser camp probably after this, but we got to clear out bottom first. I believe bottom's pretty injured, or at least it's like on its last legs. For the ultimates, now for the ultimate I chose for Stukov's his shove has a 20-second cooldown, so that's usually pretty good to have on hand. But the flailing arm goes into defending like areas like the tributes for Cursed Hollow and other things. Either is pretty good, but you can get caught out in really bad situations when you use the shove and then you can't turn it off once you use the damn thing. So if you're shoving somebody and then they're going farther than you anticipate, you can actually get killed as you're shoving the guy. So you have to be very careful when you do that, because again, you kind of turn yourself into a target. As our Malthael is being under attack, he used his ultimate, so then I pop my heals, and now I have my lurking arm right there, and it's doing all sorts of damage. I actually took the talent at 13, where whenever I turn my arm off, it will linger for a tad bit longer, and I just stun Furion into the wall. So then now we go for more of a dive and take away Furion. So we get 4 of 5 enemies. I almost said allies, but it's enemies. And the only thing we lost was our Malthael. Now Zul go back to pushing middle as we all turn in our butts. Spider butts. We need Zul to turn his in, but he wants to get mid down. Bottom's getting pushed a little bit. Malthael's going to go deal with that. Zul wants to get the last tower before getting his in. We make the play to go for their knight camp or bruiser camp. I think names are interchangeable. And then again, so then my goo is still here. At least I call it my goo for a second. I think this may cost us a lot here, but we want to. Yeah, okay, I remember this. Yeah, so I go down. These two are holding out for as long as they could. We're gonna lose 2 more people, but Zul goes and gets the triple kill. He gets Valera and Arthas with a swing. Then he gets Raynor, and now with Zul, now this is the new reworked Zul too, so he's kind of better at fighting. Now, if Furion himself, he's kind of screwed, just because Furion is not going to duel anybody and really win. So that was really a 5v3, and then we just damaged them so badly that Zul was able to come in and mop them up, which is really great. So that's a team wipe, and then the spiders are starting to move for the 2 here, for the 3 lanes. And as we move on here, I just did some stuff. Okay, so now at 16, there's a couple of different decisions you can make here. I usually take Pax Populi, which I'm able to, or Pox Populi probably. It's probably not Pax Populi. So you take the talent and you use once your heal is on your allies, you can pop your trait, and then the heal won't go away. It'll actually refresh for better healing overall. Now, the other choice at that level is called Super Strain, where if, say, they have Diablo with his multiple different CCs that's done. So Super Strain will actually, if the healing pathogen is on you, the plus sign that's above your head rotating, as we lose Kerrigan down low, our Arthas is currently trying to chew up zombies to survive, but sadly he could not. And they're called ghouls, not zombies. I always call them zombies, but here's that. I lost my train of thought as I was working on the thing there. But for Super Strain, as long as you have the healing pathogen on you and you get stunned, it will continuously heal you. So every time you get stunned in that, the heal will pop for like 400 heals or something. As a big fight breaks out here, I use my shove, and then the skeletal mages are used. Malthael is currently on top of Arthas as he is trying to rip away. There's a little bit of lag there. As I shoot out my W and miss badly, I am now healing them up. I throw down my lurking arm to stop Sonya's spin. They are still converging on us. Zul is rooted and gets out of that and coughs up a whole bunch of different butts. And see, there is the thing with Stukov, with the pathogen. If it doesn't make contact, you can't. And here's another part where I told you where the arm will go. Yeah, that was probably not a good shove, because she went farther than I thought, and it cost me my life. So here's a possible Kerrigan cleanup, or try to, but no, there's too many numbers, as Arthas and Kerrigan try to cover up for mid from our 3-man down there. But if Stukov's healing must make contact before he can really do anything, and because sometimes it actually has a missile travel speed, so it has to get to the choice. Early on, there is a choice in the thing it's called bionic armor, I think, or biotic pathogen, I think. But you put it on, and it will give the first person you heal armor. I don't necessarily take that talent, but against the heavy auto attack thing, I could see it being used. There's also at 16 Universal Carrier. I do not like that talent because it severely reduces your heals. For the overall healing, it reduces by about 60%. So when you take that thing, though, if you take that trait... Hey guys, Easily Pleased here, coming in to rectify a mistake I made. I said overall heals here, but it should be overtime heals. Overtime meaning as I throw the Q on and I don't detonate it with the D trait. So it is overtime heals by 60%, not overall heals. Just so you know. Okay, Stukov will, if you use your healing trait, Stukov will never not have it. He will just, as long as there's allies around, he will spread it to them, and he'll continuously spread it, and it never runs out. It does it in the end. It wouldn't cost you very much mana, but as a big fight breaks out here, but it's just it reduces your heals by a lot. And there's a pull in by Kerrigan as Furion goes down, and then Sonya could not escape from Malthael, but Zul's mages are doing work as we try to go in on here, and Kerrigan has been put back to full health as we keep on going, and I wound up using my lurking arm to reveal Valera as the chase begins. Now, is Valera screwed? Yes, she is, because now she is not escaping as I smack her. Okay, now down that goes. So there was a 4-for-2 trade. in that fight. So now we have to take down the boss, and then, well, we are way away from turning it at this point. Then we just move on, clear some waves, possibly get to level 20, and then we can maybe get some turn in for butts. I can't really comment on the new reworked Zool. I've heard from a friend that he's better. He's a little better when it comes to doing damage to like enemies now, but he's probably still a very niche pick. But just having more roots and for having less cleanses, again, this is another thing that Stukov suffers from. He does not have cleanse, so roots hurt a lot. Even super strain is for stuns, not roots, and that's going to be cleanse is going to become a very distinct commodity for the supports, as Lily still has it, Rhaegar still has it, Morales, I believe, still has it. There's only a few that still have it. They took it away from Fury, and he no longer has cleanse. So that's why these double support builds come in, where you have two supports. One will have cleanse, one won't, because like Uther has one, but then you take Guardians anyway sometimes, even though they reduced it. So at level 20 talents, I don't really... I Pallytime, the one YouTuber who goes over like hero builds every once in a while for his, he doesn't like any of the level 20s. I can actually agree with him. I take the level 20 where if I pop my if I use the trait and I'm using Lurking Arm, my E ability, when I use it, it'll actually detonate the arm itself. So there's that, I guess. I've never really upgraded my arms per se. Well, not the arms, the flailing arm and the shove arm, as we get another double kill from them getting pulled back into my very silent zone. Another double kill. It's good. So we move on here. We have just enough for a turn in here. 61, I believe. Yeah, 61. As we send Kerrigan's Ultralist to go down there and handle some stuff. As the enemy team starts clearing top, they need to get to level 20 before they can take a next fight. Level 20 is a very important talent in this game for most heroes, especially for Malthael, because Malthael has the one where he can literally bring himself back right away if he has it. But he can only do it one time, and then there's a 3-minute cooldown. I believe it's 3 minutes. Of course, I don't remember all of the descriptions off the top of my head, but and I don't play enough Malthael. My friends do, though. They should start experimenting with them. So the spiders are indeed inbound, as my pathogen is on all of my buddies. They are all nice and full and ready to rock, as we have all the mana and all the health to fight. So I follow Zool upwards, and we're going to clear out this little bit. And we're going to try to bait out some ults, possibly, to then go in reverse angle and see something else. As there's a triple root from enemy Arthas, as I throw down my silence pit. And down goes Valeria, as I massively shove Sonya away. Oh, Raynor is hella hurt. Will he escape from the Fury and heals? No, he will not escape as he goes down, as the purple stuff from the spiders is unleashed. As our Malthael goes deep in there for that ass, and he gets Arthas's. And Malfurion cannot escape either, as Sonya is currently under assault from everyone else, as she gets pulled by the Kerrigan and dodges and goes back into the base. As I do my best caster impression for that. As she gets rooted on the outside, she gets taken down. So we get a full team wipe for the level 20 talent, and we win the game. Because that's what you do, is you'll win the video game. And of course, Lurking Arm does not do shit to structures, so I'm just kind of doing that to do it. So yeah, that's it. As we'll definitely check out the my talents, or at least I can talk about my talents. Let's see if I show it. Of course, oh, never mind. I just ended there. But that was some Stukov gameplay. So I'm going to hopefully do this for the rest of the supports and Heroes of the Storm. And I should upload these because people really need to learn how to play support. And I'll just say that Stukov is a very high skill cap. You just have to learn to balance cooldowns and things. Now, as I've told my friends and others, it's like, okay, if they increase the mana cost for his item, for his abilities and things, I won't be that pissed, because a lot of I never go back at Stukov. I've gone games where I haven't died and I just haven't gone back. I've sipped a couple times, but that's it. Mana issues, if you manage it correctly, you never feel them. Same thing for, I guess you can say the same thing for Fury. And after they took away his mana regen from Twilight, if you can just manage yourself, it won't affect you. Just you don't need to be popping abilities every time you have them off cooldown. That's your job as a support is to make sure, well, try to help keep the position your team is in and probably make it better. You're not sometimes you can be a playmaker, but for Stukov it's usually okay, this is the situation. If you lay down the lurking arm, your E ability, then you create like an arena for them to fight in. And if they can drag the opponents into them like we were doing with Kerrigan, and then having Malthael come in there and block him, and then Arthas with the root. If you have abilities to keep them within there, it will help you tremendously with the fights. And of course, there are other builds that Stukov does, but I usually go for the like super ancestral build. Now, my build for Stukov is at level 1. I usually take Growing Infestation. Growing Infestation is where your lurking arm will have a certain area, and then it will expand. It'll get bigger. So the bigger the area, the more you can possibly silence. For level 4. I usually take Vigorous Reuptake. That's increase the bio kill switch healing after 50 uses of the healing pathogen and popping it. So then it'll increase your healing tremendously. Next, at level 7, you could make the case for taking Within My Reach, where if you throw your arm range is longer, so you're able to silence from a farther distance away. But I usually take Targeted Excision. Targeted Excision is where if I throw my W ability, my Weighted Pustule, and it only hits one enemy, I then detonate it, and then it will give my 15-second cooldown on my trait, turn it into a 4-second cooldown. So during fights, I'm able to like a 30-second fight, I'm able to pop continuously my heals as long as I'm hitting only one enemy. Bad thing is, if you hit more than one enemy in fights, then it becomes a pain in the ass, because then it's like, well, that's kind of feels like a waste. So that's again, I can see we're within my reaches there. Level 10, again, it's a toss-up depending on the map. For Cursed Hollow and things, I would take Flailing Swipe to push away opponents from the objective. And Shove, again, you can get yourself in trouble with Shove, but it is very satisfying to shove somebody so far into their base, or into your base if you get angled correctly. For 13, it's Lingering Spines. It's where once you put your arm down, you can then turn it off, and it'll linger for a bit. So then you're able to move around and do stuff. Again, the longer the arm remains, the better it usually does. And for 16, this is the one where it depends. I would take Super Strain if they have a very stun-heavy comp, just for the extra heals, but then Pox Populi is what I usually take, where if I use Bio Kill Switch, it doesn't remove the healing pathogen, it just restarts it. And then the heals from there will just continue to build. And then for 20, I always take Bio Explosion Switch. Then it just detonates the lurking arm too. So it's not just my W and my Q anymore. Then my E will also explode and put a pustule on them. It's just something to have. So those are what I usually build. And we'll see you guys for the next Hero for Hire as I continue on with the series. So thank you for clicking on it, and we'll see what other supports I can get into and upgrade. Or at least help you improve your play on, or maybe understand better. We'll see.